Well, we're going to talk about something called cottage decor. Sharon Grech is here from Benjamin Moore. They're good. They are great. So Colin and Justin are always saying the cottage doesn't have to be that throwaway place where you put everything that doesn't match anything.
Exactly. And you know,
you can have a tied together look.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I love Colin and Justin's cabin. It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Beautiful.
I thought though, when I was looking at it on the weekend, funny enough, when I was sitting at my cabin that has no furniture or anything yet,
Yeah.
I was thinking, you know what, you can kind of get that look without buying everything new. And I know they love to mix up DIY, upcycling and everything, but the reality is for a lot of us, we are using mishmash furniture, right?
Yes.
Like we've got a lot of things that are hand-me-down. Sometimes you inherit furniture with the cottage.
Yes, you
right?
do, and you want to use it, and you figure there is a place where it can all go, but why not put in a little elbow grease and tie it all together so you've got a good look going on.
It's
like
cohesive.
this look here.
Like this. And it's a lot of old, a mix of new, but that kind of fun cottage kitsch look is actually very in style right now. We love everything vintage. The cottage is the place to do that. So there's a mix of things, as I said, that are old and new, but I want to show you the befores of some of the pieces that are here now.
Okay.
Starting with the cabinet, for example. This was just a plain old wood cabinet. Nothing. It was actually hidden in someone's garage. One of those pieces that you don't even realize you have until you've got a cottage maybe and you're looking for furniture. Right. So taking something like that, painting it. I actually sent this one out to ProGlow, to a finisher, to have it repainted. But you could easily do it yourself. So pick a simple color palette, for example, white. If you're not sure what to do, painting all your furniture white is a really good start.
It's always going to look crisp and
Absolutely, and fresh. And whether you've got barn board or you've got natural log, white looks fantastic. So the chairs as well, and chairs are something that you often end up with keeping because some break. They're not, you know, they're not exactly disposable, especially when they're solid wood like those ones. You see them before.
Yeah.
But they're not all the same wood. They're different styles, so you can buy those, you know, certainly for a dime a dozen. But if you have them, paint them all white. Paint them another color.
Yeah.
A lot of times I see chairs painted with different bright colors. So for these we used Advance paint, so it's a nice strong alkyd paint with a pearl finish. So I tend to keep the high gloss for the more modern pieces, but for something that's a little more rustic I use the pearl finish.
I did not even notice they were all different chairs. These two are the same, but those are different. But or these two are the same. Are these two the same?
They are the same.
You unify them with paint and you're good.
Absolutely, Tracy. And I'm so glad you pointed that out because that's the point, right? You take things that all look completely different, you paint them the same color, and suddenly it all works really well. So, so chairs can be fun. I wanted to introduce another color, sort of inspired by some of the fun vintage accessories that we have. So for the table, and I just love the 40s, 50s enamel topped table. So when I found this at the salvage shop, it was like calling my name. But I didn't want to paint it white. And you can see actually on the edges that it's been painted a couple of times over the years.
Right.
Just on the metal. But I wasn't going to touch this enamel top. So left it alone and then painted a vintage green. This is Kittery Point green.
Very nice.
So it's really nice. Again, vintage from the historical palette. But again, you bring those historical colors into 2016 and they feel fresh.
They do. And I love all of this. You want to have that balance between making something look new and keeping its original personality.
Absolutely.
And you do that brilliantly with the table.
Yeah, the authenticity is important. Now, the other thing in cabins, cottages, and even homes, and some of these ideas you could use in your home if you're looking for a cottage style, but paneling is something you end up with in a lot of cottages. Yeah, it can be really nice wood. You can add it, but sometimes when you get stuck with that not so nice sort of 70s, 80s paneling, painting it, and that's what I did here. Painted the wood paneling with Weston flax, which is a nice, soft, buttery yellow.
Right.
So again, it's that vintage palette.
It's fresh, though. It's light and airy, and I think that's the feel you want in a cottage-like space.
Absolutely. So if you get rid of that dark wood, you kind of lighten it up with this, and then again, looking through what you already have, pulling out some new pieces, mixing in with some of the old vintage pieces. Whoops. Nice. and then this is actually reclaimed fence boards that we also picked up at a salvage place, and vintage shelves. So again, shelf brackets.
That's nice.
Yeah, so again, you could get nice new ones from IKEA, from the hardware store, but I think adding that vintage steel element is a really good idea.
I love that. You know, when people say they're going antiquing, and I'm always like, what are you looking for? It's this kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff you look for, and you sort of go out there and you see what you find, and then you see what you can make of it. So these are beautiful.
And my friend collects this, so I actually borrowed a lot of it.
Oh,
from her. So you know what? You can use it. The other thing I want to mention though is just color palette. So I went with sort of a vintage color palette. We talked about painting all the furniture pretty much one color, but staying with a nice, cute, yellows and greens. They're analogous. They're calm. They work really well. But then throwing in that punch of red, I think that's what makes it feel a little more fresh and a little more today.
Very nice. And to know that in a cottage, even if you're coming in with sandy boots or muddy boots, you're okay.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't be precious. Right?
I agree, 100%.
It needs to be the sort of space where you can have some fun in.